Hi Stampers, it's Linda Schmitt with Stampin' with the Hounds. So sorry for the long delay of not doing a video. I had some personal things happen in my life, as you know, Stampin' with the Hounds. We used to have 4 Greyhounds, and the past year and a half, about 18 months, we've lost 3 out of the 4. So recently just lost legit, and so things have been pretty hard coming down into the stamp room. But I'm back, and I'm looking forward to interacting with all of you again online. Today I have a technique. This one has been pretty popular, but I'm going to show you a step up on it. And so this is actually called the faux shutter or a fracture card layout. And I'm going to add a shaker card to the center part today to show you. So I'm going to show you the basic way of doing it with just the cardstock strips, and then stepping it up by adding a little shaker card on it. So these are featuring one of the new sets and bundles in the 2023 holiday mini catalog from Stampin' Up. This is Winter Owl. And I'm not always a bird person, but I do like owls. And so this set, it's actually, I really did like it. And the dies are amazing. You can do a little tree, there's a moon, some branches. You've got some different owl, it cuts out the stamped images. Plus you can do your own die cut owl, which I thought was kind of cool too. So that's a new set. And then the other thing I'm going to be featuring is the All About Autumn Designer Series paper. This paper is amazing. It's got these beautiful like photograph images on the one side, or like some really good like texture, like a sweater or an afghan. And then the other side has this beautiful foiled color patterns with them. So beautiful paper. I just love it. Love it, love it, love it. So I'm going to be showing you the owl one as well as a card using this paper today. So here are some other samples just to kind of show you. This is again using that All About Autumn paper. It's got the books, which I thought looked really good with the In the Moment stamp set on there. So that one I just kind of did no saying. I kind of did my image as my focal point on that. And then here's one using the Earth and Textures. This one I kind of did a shaker card as well, using that Earth and Textures paper and die cut. And this is that Moody Mauve. This color is growing on me. And then that Pebbled Path, which is a new in color. And then I thought I would kick it up, kind of changing out using that Galaxy Stargazing DSP, and then some of our holographic paper that I embossed. And so that one's kind of a fun shaker card, a birthday one. And I kind of did my retired moon set in there. And then my very first one I did uses the textured floral with that. And again, I kind of did my image as my focal point, and then kind of leaving it blank inside until I know what I want to do with it. So we're going to get started. I'm going to first show you the one that doesn't have a shaker. So the supplies you're going to need will be just your normal A2 card, and you can cut it either the long way at 4 1/4 so by 11, and then folding it in half so it opens up portrait style, or you can do your A2 and just have it open up. So either way works. So 5 1/2 by 11 or the 4 1/4. So fold it in half. 4 1/4 or 4 by 5 1/4. This is just cardstock that is going to go on the inside of your card. Your Designer Series paper, and this can be cardstock too. This one again is 4 by 5 1/4. Then you're going to need a piece of either cardstock or Designer Series paper again, and I'm using the Snowflake Magic specialty paper that's in the mini catalog. This is that Lost Lagoon. It's got some foil in it. This one is just 3 by 3, or again, or it could be cardstock. And this is what's going to be creating here's your quarter sheet, and then these are the smaller 3 by 3 pieces. So kind of just as you're doing that. So something that coordinates with that paper. And then you'll need whatever your focal point is going to be. This is just a 2 by 2 square. You can either use a die or you can just cut it into a 2 by 2 square, and that's just cardstock. And then you'll need some strips. So this is a great way of using up your scraps. You're going to need 4 of them. And these are cut at 1/4 inch and at least 4 inches long. They can be longer because you're going to be cutting them off, but at least 4 inches long. So again, these are just that holographic specialty paper that I'm using. And then on this one, I'm showing you, I normally double these up, so I cut 8, but on this one, because it's that specialty paper, it's kind of thick already, I only did the 4. So you just need 4 of those. And then whatever you want, again, I like to have a focal point, so I'm going to be using my little owl that I already stamped and die cut, and then I die cut it 2 more times because I'm going to layer this all together to create my dimension. So that'll be glued together, and then I've got another little die cut for its branch. All right, so to get started, we're going to take our square. So I'm going to stamp on this. So I want to do my stamping first. And this is going to be, remember, kind of like a diamond. So when you stamp it, you want to make sure you're positioning your square so that your image is going to be right in the center there. So any type of stamping you want to do it now. Or, as I said, you can also just use pattern paper, or you can emboss it. And I'm actually going to use the new Snowflakes 3D folder. So I'm going to do that really quick. Kind of position this in here. And then we'll emboss this. I'm just going to do it off screen really quick. Okay, so then that's embossed. All right, so now we're going to take that square and we're going to use our designer series paper, which was that 4 by 5 1/4. You're going to put adhesive on the back, and you're going to just center this in the middle. So if you've got your grid mat or paper, that always kind of helps. Okay, now we're going to take one of the strips, and again we're going to put adhesive, and you can either use you know, tape, or you can use your liquid glue, whatever works. Now the important thing, what you're going to do is you're going to put this edge right to the edge of the square and lining it butt up against that edge of that center square. Okay, so I like to start in the upper right hand corner and work my way around clockwise. So then we're going to rotate it, and again we're going to put tape and put it right up against the other one, against the edge of that square cardstock. I might need a little bit more adhesive on there. There we go. And then rotate. Add your adhesive again on the back. Butt it up right against that square. Oops, sorry. This square. And then go up. I'm just going to get a little bit of this. I'm just using my adhesive remover. I got a little gunk on there. Okay. And then rotate it again. I need a little bit more. And then butt that up against the other one. There we go. I probably should have used my liquid glue on that, but oh well. Okay. So now you've got all of those on there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to flip it over, and we're just going to cut off these extra strips. Okay, then this is that 3 by 3 inch square. You're going to position this so it's going to go here and here. So first off, put your adhesive on your paper and then position this so that it's right up against those strips. And then we're going to flip it over and we're going to cut this off. And then again, on this corner, we're going to put adhesive. And then you'll butt this up right against those strips, turn it over, and then cut this off. So this is another great card for using up your strips of paper or any types of scraps that you have. All right, and then this now will go onto your card base. And this paper that I'm using, this is the Winter Meadow Designer Series paper that is also in the new 2023 mini catalog. And then I'm using Lost Lagoon as my card base. All right, and then I've got my little branch. And this, I am going to use my liquid glue. So I've already die cut this branch out of gray, I think I did gray granite cardstock. And I'm just using some liquid glue. And actually I die cut this twice and glued it. So I think I want my owl. I'm going to go... Do we want it going this way? Yeah. So we'll kind of put that. I think right about there. Because I didn't want to cover up my pretty designer, the foil paper. All right, and then we're just going to double up our owl with the layers. And I like doing this just because it adds a little bit more dimension. I'm not wasting my dimensionals on just my samples. I kind of save those for my classes that I teach. So, all right, so now we've got that 3 layers, and then we'll go ahead and glue this one down. I'll just kind of put a little bit of pressure on there. And then these are some of the new bling, the Faceted Gems Trio. So I thought these are in the mini catalog as well. You know me, I love my gems. Oh yeah, these are pretty. Okay, so we've got a little bit of, looks like Lost Lagoon, kind of maybe like a smoky slate, and then a clear. So I think maybe we'll do... I did. Let's see here. Maybe we'll just do 1 and 2 here. Whoops. I think I might just do it this way. And maybe we'll just finish it off. I'll do 4. Put 1 in each corner here. Someone special, they're getting 4 gems. All right. And then this is just for the inside, which I'll stamp and decorate later. Okay. So that is the basic technique, just the fractured or faux shutter or fractured, just using your strips of paper and then the designer series paper on there and specialty paper. So fun. Okay, so now let's kick it up and let's do the shaker card. So shaker card, same thing, same pieces basically, except you're going to need stuff for your shaker, so I'm using the foam strips. Lots of pieces here. Okay, so on this one I'm using my pecan pie, and this one is going to be just your standard A2 card. And then I've got a 4 1/4 or 4 by 5 1/4. This is just vanilla cardstock that's just going to go on my inside of my card. And then I had some scraps left over, so I just cut it diagonally, and I'm going to use these on my inside just to decorate and add some color and using up your scraps. And this is that All About Autumn Designer Series paper. Isn't that pretty? Love it, love it. Okay, so we're going to set that aside. Now we're going to take that DSP, again, that was 4 by 5 1/4. Let's get my pieces here. We've got our cardstock strips. Now this time I did cut 8 because I'm going to double these up. So again, they're 1/4 inch, 4 to 5 inches, depending, what you've got. I just had my scraps, so mine are probably about 5 inches on that. You're going to need your center square, again, which is a 2-inch 2 by 2. And then you're going to need that 3 by 3 Designer Series paper. So I'm just using the back side of the leaves on this one. Again, so that's 3 by 3, and that can be cardstock or Designer Series paper. And then whatever your focal point is. So I'm going to be using the owl. And so we're going to be doing the shaker card. And before I forget, I do need to cut, because it looks like I forgot to cut the piece that we need to close up our shaker. So I'm actually going to real quick cut this window so that I have that. So hold on. So I just, boy, I tell you, there are some days when the stamping is just not on. And today might be one of those days. There we go. Okay, so this is just my little shaker window. So I just took this is a retired, but you can just make your frame with like other squares, but this was a retired scallop. So I just cut 2 different ones at the same size. And these were, this is like 2 1/8, and then this other one is probably like 2 3/4 with it to make that frame. All right, so this is for the shaker cards. You'll need some type of frame to top it, and then this you can just discard, use it for something else. Okay, so on this one, let's see here. I was going to, I think I was going to do an autumn saying. So let me grab that. So this is the All About Autumn stamp set, or autumn leaves, I should say, that coordinates with that All About Autumn paper. So I'm going to be using this sentence, or this phrase here. Autumn teaches us that change can be beautiful. So I'm just going to do that. And then it has, that set has some coordinating dies, which are really pretty. So that'll be for another future project. So on this one, let's see here. So my frame, it's going to be mauve. I think I'm going to stamp in pecan pie. And I am making this one a shaker. So yeah, I think I'm going to stamp this in pecan pie. And since this is photopolymer, I'm getting out my little foam mat. And again, remember, this is going to be at a diamond, so we want to make sure this is laid down correctly so that you're stamping correctly. So I'm just going to put that on there. That's pecan pie. Now, normally, I would probably emboss or dry emboss this, or with my enfolder. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you something else that is new in the catalog, in the mini catalog, and that is our stencil. So this is the Abundant Beauty, and so it has a sunflower. That's a layering. So you basically take, you start with this one. It's hard to see. I should probably do it this way so you can see. You start with that one as your first color, and then you start adding your other layers, and they're all kind of numbered here at the top on what order you should put it in. So then you do your leaves, then you do the center of the sunflower, and then the little textured sunflower. So that's kind of fun. And then the other ones that are in here are a leaf one that we're going to use right now, and there's a snowflake one, and then kind of like your, God, what is this called? Houndstooth or something. So those all come with it, which is a great deal. So we're going to do the leaves. And so I am just going to put this down so it doesn't move on me. Just while I'm stenciling it. And then you're just going to lay this over it. And I'm just going to position this a little bit. So let's see here. So I'm getting some good leaves. I'll maybe do that. And I'm going to do a very light color. So I'm just doing crumb cake. And I'm just going to do very lightly, because I just want to add just a little bit of texture and depth with this stenciling. And then you can just take a baby wipe and clean that off, or just rinse it off underneath the sink with water. So then there's that stencil. So it just adds a little bit more pop to your image, which is kind of fun. So I'll do some more videos on these stencils because I do love to stencil. Okay, so there's that now. So now this can go back in the center of our designer series paper. So again, kind of find your center. Whoops, if I lay it on my thing correctly. Yeah, it's been, well, it's Labor Day weekend here, and so I've got actually Monday and Tuesday off from work, so I'm hoping I can be in the craft room a little bit more and doing some other videos just to get caught up on things. All right, so as I said, you're normally going to do 4 of these, and I did 8 because I'm going to double these up. So I'm just going to real quick glue these together, and I'm going to use my liquid glue this time around. Again, starting with that right side, you're going to put this butt up against the square and then rotate it, and then do your other ones. Now, I did see another way, instead of, laying these just a single, you can also add different colors and do like another row, like 2 to 3 other rows. You're then just going to have less of your designer series paper showing, is the only thing if you do that. But that's just another option too on this technique. So it's always kind of nice where you can change it up a little bit as you go. So again, I'm just doubling these up on top of each other, and then rotate, and then do the same thing. And again, this is that Moody Mauve color, and then the Pecan Pie, which I thought was kind of a nice color combo together. And then that Bubble Bath Pink would coordinate with this color combo too. So I'm just going to double this up on top. There we go. And then the last one. Butt it up. And then layer the other one on top. Yeah, it's going to be 100 degrees here today. Oh my gosh, I'm so over summer. I don't know. I'm ready for fall. And I love fall. It's my favorite time of year. Okay, so now we're going to make this a shaker card. Actually, you know what? Let's flip these off. Let's cut these off first. So we're going to cut off these strips, add our other designer series paper, and then we'll make our shaker. Isn't that pretty? Oh, I just love this paper. It's almost a shame to put this foil glue on it. Okay, and then, so now again, I'm going to take, and it's going to be these two corners. So I'm going to put some adhesive right on this paper. Lay my designer series paper on here. Kind of butt up right against those strips. And then cut this off from the back. All right, and then glue here. And then butt this up against the edge. And then cut this off from behind. All right, isn't that pretty? Oh, just love it. Okay, so now let's make our shaker. So I'm going to take my foam strips, and you just really need one. And I'm going to put this directly so that I'm making around my square here. Oops. There we go. So then right up to the edge. You just have a smidge left over. Okay. So then I like to just get rid of some of the static electricity in here so that my little shaker bits don't stick. They were a trio. They were in the clearance rack a while back, but I'm using, there's like a pink, a blue, and a green, so I'm using the pink ones. Gotta always check that clearance rack. It usually has some pretty good deals in there. So I'm just gonna scoop up some of these pink ones. And then I'm just gonna add a little bit of, I've got some of these gold leaves. And these I just picked up at Michael's a long time ago. They last forever. So we'll just add a few leaves in there. All right. Okay. And then you do need a little piece of acetate, or like your window sheet. Cut that too. Oh my gosh, I'm on a roll. Okay, I'm just gonna move this so I don't. Real quick, this just needs to be 2 1/4 inch square. Okay. So that's just your window sheet. So now we're going to take our frame and flip it over, and I'm just going to put glue on the back of this because I need this for my window sheet to stick to. So then take your window sheet and just place that onto, oops. There we go. so now there's our frame. And then we'll bring back our shaker. And now we're just going to pick off the tops of the foam strips to expose the adhesive. And I like to use my pick tool for this, just so that I have a little bit more control. All right, so now, there's adhesive on here, so now we just take and put our topper on to close off our shaker. And then just press down. Fun! I love shaker cards. Okay, then this is going to go on to our pecan pie card. And then my owl, so this is the other die cut. So what I did, this one's already done. So he's kind of, I did my little bit of my blending brush. I'd added just a touch of color just to give him some dimension. And then he's been layered several times with the pecan pie behind it. And then these pieces were the extra wings. And this is that shimmery Moody Mauve specialty paper. So I cut out 2 of those, and then I just glued them right behind the owl. So that's kind of what I did. So I did 1, and then I've got a layer, and I have a couple layers here. So they're just behind. And then that way I'm keeping those pieces, instead of poking them out, I'm keeping those pecan pie pieces in there. And then only the white one did I poke out, so you can see the pecan pie underneath it. And then these just get glued like so on the back. So that's all done with here. So now, since I've got some dimension already here, I really only need to do a dimensional on that bottom part of the owl. And since these foam strips are kind of high, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put a double layer of these dimensionals just to match the height of the foam strips. And then I really only need to add glue then on his head, a little bit of his wings. Let's put a little bit more back here. And there you go. So that is that faux shutter or fractured technique, stepping it up by adding a little shaker card in the center. So thanks again for watching. Like I said, I'm going to be back in the craft room this weekend making some other samples featuring some of the new items from the mini catalog. Have a great day, and thanks for watching. Bye-bye.